Egyptian god card! Sniper, the Sky Dragon! Obelisk the Tormentor and the Winged Dragon of Ra! You've allowed me to assemble the 3 strongest and most feared creatures in Duel Monsters, Kaiba.
Hey guys, this is Maniac. Guys, finally, it is the time that we resume our drive through the arc of the Pyramid of Light, which is, of course, an filler gap, in between gap, which I told you guys I will be doing during the Shocktober days, and then with resuming until the very beginning of November. I was waiting for 2 cards to arrive. One of it was Waterpon. I was lacking it all the time, and that finally I think it was yesterday. No, it was 2 days ago. It arrived here, but the other card, Pyramid of Light, still didn't arrive. So I will be putting down this character deck profile of course, Yugi and Atem, or Yugi/Atem. Deck profile of Pyramid of Light arc. And then I have to try to get another one because I purchased a Pyramid of Light trap card and it didn't arrive. I was waiting for it like about 10 days now. And the seller apologized and then retrieved my money back, or he planned to do it at least. And then I have to look up maybe another one, or maybe I just will let it out, but it's not the same without this very trap card, because it's very key and central to both the deck of Seto Kaiba, also of that of Anubis. So I have to look it up and then buy another one, and then of course wait until it's arriving. Maybe it take like, I don't know, 3 or 4 days at least, maybe 5 days. I don't know how much it will take, but then I will ultimately be ready to bring those 2 remaining deck profiles out also. And then we are finished with this arc, and then returning to Battle City, which I cannot wait to finish also. So then let's get to this deck profile. What can I say about the Yugi Atem deck profile in this very specific era? It is very much, I would say, it's not very much mystical or something special about it. It has a couple of cards which he didn't play out until now, which wasn't shown in the show. But it's not like in the Dark Dimension movie, which, you have almost every card, which is a new version of Kuribo or something like that. That you have almost, every card exchanged for a new support card, you might say. And this specific era, now we just directly dive into it. I don't want to spoil that much. We have... we don't have much other cards other than those which they have in Battle City and other arcs as well. Like I said, with the exception of I think 1 or 2, maybe, just few. There are a few others which I will then, of course, showing you guys then, and we're just getting started. There we go. So, of course, starting off in this very arc is the card which I was waiting very long time here to arrive, which was the only card which I still lacked, which I didn't find in my own collection, which was this very one. We're starting up with Waterpon. Wadapon has a 1-star, is light attribute, fairy type monster with only 200 attack and 300 defense, and its effect works like that. If this card is added from your deck to your hand by a card effect, you can special summon this card. So like if you have Pot of Greed or Witch of the Black Forest, Sangan, then you can special summon it directly. Not if you just like, I don't know, draw it normally in your normal draw phase, then its effect is not working. So there we go, Waterpon is the first. Then I have of course the Kuribo with that artwork, ultra rare. Dark attribute 1 stars, and fiend type monster, 300 attack, 200 defense, and it affects of course the first hand trap. You can discard it from your hand to the graveyard in order to make a battle damage of your opponent or reduce it to 0. Yeah, so thought it would be a new thing to like put it down with this artwork, as I'm having a lot of these. Then Big Shield Gardener, Earth attribute, 4 stars, warrior type of course, with 2600 attack and 100 defense, and it works like that. And during the turn of any player, if this face down card, other card is targeted as a spell card target, then you have to put it down in the open defense position, and if you do, you can negate it. So like if it's like a face down defense position, then you have to put it open, and the effect is of the spell card is negated. And the other effect is if it's attacked, you have to, at the end of the damage step, put it in the attack position, which is a little bit of a downside because it just only has 100 attack. But if you have an opponent that just has no monster at all, or maybe just has one monster, then it doesn't make that much damage, and it's not that risky. But on the other hand, it also can, if you have face down trap cards, you can of course lure your opponent into attacking it in attack mode, and then countering with your trap cards. So there, very good, strong card, which I always like. Another card which is not new in general, but one card which we didn't see in the deck since the Duelist Kingdom era, which is Magician of Faith. A card which Tia Gardner very much liked back then, as she was put from Yami Bakura into this very card. And so as a result of that, we know, as a matter of fact, we know that Yugi and Atem had it in their deck. And the Magician of Faith as a light attribute, spellcaster type with 300 attack and 400 defense, and it's a flip effect. So it's, if you flip it face up, or it was attacked, and if you flip it face up, you can take one spell card from your graveyard onto your hand. So further on, it wasn't necessary to give Yugi and Atem's deck more cards, as they were having, I think, precisely 40 cards in this era. But I did it to make it a little bit more better playable. I gave him more Sangan, 4 stars, dark attribute, fiend type monster with 1000 attack and 600 defense. Of course, very famous and iconic. If it's destroyed and put into the graveyard, you can put one monster with 500 attack or lower from the deck to your hand. Then I give him another card for good stalling and defense measure and lineup. A giant soldier of stone, earth attribute, 3 stars, a rock type monster with 1300 attack and 2000 defense. So, like I said, a good defensive lineup. But in vanilla monster. Further on, we do have a morphing jar, one of the cards which I just mentioned that was new to this deck in general. Morphing jar, of course, an Earth attribute, 2 stars, and rock type monster with 700 attack only and 600 defense. But that's not the point, because the key to this very strong drawing power effect is this flip effect. If it's put face down or flipped face up, or attacked and then flipped face up, then both players discard all their cards in their hand, and then both players can draw 5 cards. So if you have, like, I don't know, very bad hand cards, then it's a good possibility to come into good combinations by drawing. Or if you have no card at all, or maybe just one card, so a very good one. Morphing jar right there. So further on, Obnoxious Celtic Guardian, Earth attribute, 4 stars, a warrior type monster, 1400 attack and 1200 defense, but a very good, strong, powerful effect, which is it cannot be destroyed by any monster with 1900 attack points or more. So if your opponent has a good, strong monster lineup, then you can have this on the card, maybe in defense position, and if it's attacked, like, then it's not destroyed. But I mean, especially if he or she has high level monsters, of course. Then we of course have the classic iconic light King's Knight, light attribute, 4 stars, warrior type monster with 1600 attack and 1400 defense. And if this card is normal summoned, you can put one Jack's Knight, or you control one Jack's Knight. You can, no, if you have Queen's Knight, then you can put special summon Jack's Knight from your deck. So there we go. Of course, Jack's Knight, like I mentioned, King's Knight, like I mentioned, Jack's Knight. But I do not understand about this card, and this very TCG is why it has 5 stars. It makes it more difficult to summon. Of course, it could be special summoned if you have the other 2, but yeah, with 4 stars it would become more playable. Would make more sense. I even speculate that in the anime it had 4 stars. The very same mistake they did with the Flame Swordsman, I think, with the normal type Flame Swordsman in the anime has 4 stars. So Jack's Knight has also light type by 5 stars, unfortunately. Warrior type, 1900 attack and 1000 defense. Then last but not least, Queen's Knight, of course. Light attribute, also white, 4 stars, warrior attribute and 1500 attack and 1000 defense. These 3 cards will play a very key role in another arc, which we will then be talking if it's coming this far. Then another new card which he has, or they have, Yugi and Atem, which is Valkyrie's Knight. First introduced in this movie arc. Valkyrie's Knight, of course, the resemblance between this card and Dark Magician Girl is very big. If you look under the picture, I can even show you. There we have it. There we go. So if you compare those two, you could assume it's just another artwork for Dark Magician Girl, but this has, like, I don't know, this magic stick right there, and then another structured hat, and also another colored hat, of course. So there we go. Valkyrie's Knight, 2 times even. So it's a 2 of light attribute, 4 stars, 1600 attack, 1800 defense. So very good defense stats also. It's a spellcaster, of course, and its effect is if your opponent your opponent cannot attack other spellcaster type monsters which you control. So very good protect, preserve effect for like Magician of Fate, if you have a Magician of Fate on the field. Or another one of the cards which are very much untypical for Yugi. I mean, this you might see that as typical, but like Morphing Jar, very untypical for this deck, but makes it good, far more better playable. We have Fairy Twins, Elf Twins, Fairy Twins. I don't know how it's called in English. I think Elf Twins. Earth Attribute, 4 stars. Spellcaster type, of course. 1900 attack, 900 defense. But I'm always assuming, or more to the point, forgetting that it is a spellcaster, so it's not natural, because elves twins, you can also make the adoption that it might be maybe a fairy type monster, but it sticks to that effect with Valkyrie's Nut, of course, with the protecting the spellcaster. So we have another protection with this one. It's a very strong, has a very strong attack stats too. So very good choice. Then we have 2 Skilled Dark Magician, a card which I think he didn't play out in the Battle City arc, but in the later arcs I might assume not even in the Orichalcos arc. I think maybe in the Championship arc he had this card. Also as in 2-off right there. Let's give it a little bit of space there, so that we know that we have like 2-off from this one. So Skilled Dark Magician right there. Skilled Dark Magician has a dark attribute, 4 stars, spellcaster type monster with 1900 attack, 1700 defense. So we also have a high attack stats right there, other than Elf Twins, which also helps this deck to make a good play. And if effect works like that, each time if you or your opponent activates a spellcaster, then you have to put a spell counter on this card. And then if you have 3, you can offer this card together with 3 spell counters in your main phase as a tribute to special summon 1 Dark Magician from your hand, deck, or your graveyard. So no matter where it is, then you can special summon the Dark Magician onto the field. Make a little bit of space right there in order to see the full lineup, because normally I do it like that. I love it. It's like left right stacked and not one above the other like a sandwich. I made an exception in my Halloween special, but because I was lacking room in order to have all the decoration on the field, my camera angle or I couldn't take all those decorations and also the field lineup, so I just stacked it one above the other, which I'm just making in very, very few cases. Another card which is very unusual for Yugi and Atem is Zombira the Dark, 4 stars, dark attribute, a warrior type monster with 2100 attack and 500 defense. But it hasn't very much downside because it's a very strong lineup, but it cannot attack directly, and if this card destroys another monster, it loses 200 attack points. So each time it overpowers another monster, it becomes weaker. So it also has another downside. So it's very good, very much good for destroying a high level, or at least powerful monsters of your opponent. But from then on, you have maybe put it trap cards in order to protect it or attribute it, rather than then you just not offering yourselves to a dangerous exposed position in the game. Then Swift Gaia, the Fierce Knight, very iconic as well. It has 7 stars, it's a dark attribute, 2300 attack and 2100 defense, a warrior type monster. And that's a good trump card if you have it in your hand. If you just control that card, or you just have this card in your hand, then you can special summon this card without a tribute. But it's not a special summon. It's treated as a normal summon. So yeah. Rather a downside, you might say, but still a very powerful monster right there. Then we finally come to Dark Magician. Dark attribute, of course, 6 stars, spellcaster type, 2000 attack, and very iconic card. 1700 defense. I'm so happy that they, like, I don't know, 3/4 of years before, printed this in a secret rare print, finally, since Legendary Collection Yugi's World. So, I love this effect, guys. Just look at that. Yeah, and of course, it's a very iconic effect, as well as it gains 300 attack for every Dark Magician or Magician of Black Chaos in the graveyards. So, then we have Dark Magician, of course, who's now surprised. Push please the button down below. So, their dark attribute, 7 stars, 2500 attack, and very iconic, of course, 2500 attack and 2100 defense. But this is not it still, because we have another new iconic, but iconic monster, which is only played out in this arc, which is Sorcerer of the Dark Magic. It has really 9 stars, very unusual. I didn't count it until now, but as I've been counting, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 stars, dark attribute, spellcaster type monster with 3200 attack and 2800 defense. This is a spellcaster effect is cannot be normal summoned or set. It cannot be special summoned, except if you attribute 2 monsters of the type spellcaster with 6 stars or higher. Yeah, and you can. It's also has an effect like comparable to Jinzo. It can negate every trap card and destroy it. So level 6 or higher spellcaster monster, of course, is a big reference to those two. So in order to summon this one, we have to wait until we get these 2 onto the field, and then we can special summon this one. And last but not least, of course, the 3 Egyptian iconic boss monsters: Slifer, the Sky Dragon. As a Slifer maniac, I have to show this one in the camera, of course. I don't have to explain much about these because they are so iconic. Obelisk, the Tormentor, and the Winged Dragon of Ra. So these 3, of course, the ultimate prize, which Atem even is succeeding in summoning, but Kaibai wants to lure him into their very trap that all 3 are summoned, because I think he even helps him with them being summoned, and then ultimately is playing out the very card that I was talking about right there, so we can have a good picture of that. So this is the monster lineup for that. Let's get into the spells. So the spells are very much, you might say, lined up about the strategy, bringing about your Dark Magician and your spellcasters onto the field, and destroying, or bringing then, of course, ultimately your Dark Magician, and then, of course, last but not least, your Sorcerer of Magic onto this field. So we have first of all our Dark Magic Curtain, which of course is you have to pay half of your life points in order to special summon your Dark Magician from your deck. And its downside is you cannot summon other monsters, but you can set them. So yeah, this is the new errata of that card. A card which of course first was to be seen in the Battle City arc, played out by Arcana. And then another one which is very, very much iconic. Diffusion Wave Motion, the very card which Atem succeeded in destroying the ultimate Blue Eyes White Dragon of Seto Kaiba in the semifinals of the Battle City arc. Of course, this card works like that. This card is not treated as fusion card, so diffusion wave motion doesn't mean it's fusion card. If your opponent controls a monster, pay 1000 life points and target one level 7 or higher spell counts monster you control. This turn it must attack all monsters on your opponent controls once each. Also, other monsters you control cannot attack. These effects of monsters destroyed by these attacks cannot activate and are negated. So, as we know, he diffusioned the Ultimate Dragon, Blue Eyes White Dragon in Battle City arc from Seto Kaiba and then attacked it, each one with Buster Blader by this card effect of diffusion wave motion. Double spell, you can discard one spell card from your hand and then choose one spell card in the opponent's graveyard, target that spell card and use that spell card as you would have possessed it yourself, or its effect. Then I don't remember it correctly if this card was in this arc. Might be, but if not, yeah, it's now maybe 2 or 3 weeks. I gathered this deck together. I might be mistaken, but if not, it's the very typical Battle City card. Of course, exchange works like that. Your opponent exchange one card from your hands. Then, I'm sure he had this card in this arc, which is, or at least in his hands. It was shown in his hands, at least. But maybe it was used in order to bring out one of the 3 Egyptian boss monster cards. Of course, Fiend of Sanctuary, the card which Seto Kaiba gave Yugi. You can special summon 1 metal Fiend type token with 1 stars, attack 0 and defense 0 as a special summon. It cannot attack, and your opponent gets all the battle damage which you get in involving battles involving this card. And once per turn, you have to during the standby phase pay 1000 life points, or you have to destroy this token. So it comes at a big cost, you might say, but if you have, I don't know, like no other option, it's not that bad for a time. Magical Dimension, of course, a quick spell card which is good for the spellcaster theme. If you control 1 spellcaster, you choose 1 monster which you control. You offer it as a tribute, and then you can summon 1 monster from type spellcaster as a special summon from your hand, and then you can destroy also one monster on the field. So it's very good cunning effect, practical, you might say, especially. Well, further on, Mage Power, a good equipped spell card which works like that. The equipped monster gets 500 attack defense for each of spell and trap cards which you currently control. So very good equipped spell card. Now, very good, which I had back in the day from Labyrinth of Nightmare and Ultra Rare. Helped me very many times to defeat my opponent in a battle, in a duel. Of course, the staple Monster Reborn, which also was played out. Multiply for Kuribo, of course you can, it's a quick spell card. You can attribute Kuribo and then put as many as Kuribo tokens onto the field as possible in defense position, but of course the same attribute type of stars and attack as well as defense sets as a normal Kuribo, but they cannot be attributed for a tribute zone, but that's a good defensive measure there. Pot of Greed for draw power, of course. Premature Burial, equips spell card which you have to pay 800 life points, then can you special summon from your graveyard a monster in face-up attack position. If it is destroyed, then this card is destroyed. If this card is destroyed, then the monster is destroyed. Sage Stone, of course, you can only activate if you have a face-up Dark Magician or controlled on the field. You can special summon 1 Dark Magician from your hand or your deck. So if we have Dark Magician and we have this card, then we can bring Dark Magician also up. Swords of Revealing Light, a good stalling possibility right there. Of course, if you activate it, then the face down defense position monsters of your opponent are put on the face down defense position. For 3 days, for 3 turns, your opponent cannot attack. And at the end of the third turn, this card is destroyed. But it's remained face up on the field. That's very important because it's no continuous spell card, but it remains for 3 whole turns on the field. Last but not least, 1000 Knives. If you control Dark Magician, then you target one monster your opponent controls, destroy that target. So there we go. That's this spell card lineup. There, we have not that much trap cards in this arc. I think 4 in all, and from that very 4 in the TCG, I think only exist, or maybe even it was 3. I'm not sure, but I put a third one in there. No, it was 4, and I put well, 4, and one is only existing in the anime, so it was anime exclusive. But it was a very much powerful key card. I think it was called Reverse Trap. But I don't. It doesn't exist in the TCG. So just exchanged with Magical Cylinder, which works out together. Of course, with opponent's monsters, declares an attack, target the attack monster, negate the attack, and if you do inflict damage to your opponent equal to its attack. Then there was Ultimate Offering, in order, of course, to bring your Egyptian boss monster cards faster onto the field. Pay 500 life points. This is a continuous trap card. Pay 500 life points for each monster, and you can put one additional normal summon or set onto the field for this turn. Then Mirror Force as a board breaker, of course. I think it was also played out. Of course, all face-up attack monsters, if your opponent declares attack, are destroyed. And last but not least, a Dust Tornado. You can choose one spell or trap card which your opponent controls. You can destroy that target, and then you can destroy one spell and trap card. Then you can set one spell or trap card from your hand. So this is it, guys. This is my, I think, I don't know if it's 40 or 42, 42, because I made 2 editions, or 3 editions even, it was 43. More than they had, because Giant Soldier of Stone Sangan was an edition, which I didn't need, but I thought it made the deck better playable. Yeah, and this is it. This is my Yugi Atem Pyramid of Light deck profile. Very iconic, very classic, and always makes very much pleasure and fun to build a deck profile of these two, because it's very, very much iconic. Arguably the most iconic character deck profile that you might have. Others might maybe say no, Sato Kaiba or Joey Wheeler, but of course, as the Pharaoh Atem and Yugi are the key and central to this series, it is very much logical that I conclude this deck profile is the most iconic one of all of them. So last but not least, I close that very video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button, give me some love, show me some love, make commentary which is your favorite deck profile, maybe card into this arc, and whether you like how Atem and Yugi played or their strategy. Yeah, and like always, I hope you guys have a good evening, a good day, good morning, good midday, good afternoon. As always, this is me, your Life Maniac. My day is ended. I'm going to bed now. And bye.